And I'd like to introduce you to my daughter. My daughter in this picture that was taken 44 years ago when she was 13, and we were on the mall in Washington, D.C. for the Equal Rights Amendment. I speak from that generation. I speak with the same slash that I wore in this picture, and it should be ancient history. 44 years is a long time to wait.
So in closing, I say this. The world is watching. Your mother, your sisters, your daughters. And I want to be unequivocally clear that there is only one way to spell equality, and that is simply E-R-A. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Ayes 59, nays 41, abstentions 0.
Ayes 59, nays 41, abstention 0. For the women of Virginia and the women of America, the resolution has finally passed.
Madam Speaker, this bill will affect millions of Virginians, that's true. It's going to make sure millions of Virginians in schools, in their streets, are safe from the threat of mass murder. It is time that we finally pass reasonable gun violence prevention in Virginia, and this bill does exactly that. I hope everybody will vote green to keep Virginia safe. Thank you.
Actually, I would say that if Hamilton thinks that the best considered vote of the people is a few people in a closed room, I would suggest to you that the best way to determine the vote of the people, with due respect to Alexander Hamilton, is to consult the people and let them cast their votes. I urge everyone vote for this bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Shall the bill pass?
We want voting, we want everyone to participate. So you can throw up a problem with any bill out there. You can come up with a crazy hypothetical that's got about a 0.0001 chance of happening and ignore the real problems that happen every election. People that walk into our voting places every day trying to vote and they can't. All we're trying to do is create one more fail-safe for those people that desperately want to cast their vote and want to do it. And so, Madam Chairman, I would hope that it'd be the pleasure of this body to engross this very important, very fine bill and pass it on to its third reading.
Tuition, refugees, and individuals with certain special immigrant visas.
Shall the bill pass? The clerk shall close the roll.
Ayes 51, nays 48, abstentions 0.
Ayes 51, nays 48, abstention 0. The bill passes.
And that's why, Madam Speaker, I would simply say some members of this body might not be able to empathize with the plight of a young man like James or a young woman like Morgan, but I can. I was too afraid to be them. I was too afraid to tell anyone who I was because that stigma and that fear is so real. You have no idea what it's like to be Morgan or what it's like to be James. You don't know until you have lived it, until you have cried yourself to sleep over it. No child in the Commonwealth of Virginia and no person in the Commonwealth of Virginia should ever be afraid to be who they are and to be that well and to thrive in this Commonwealth because of who they are, not despite it and not for what discriminatory politicians tell them they're supposed to be. Let's pass this bill.
And if those 8 legislators cannot agree, if 2 of them refuse to go along with it, then it goes to the Supreme Court, who shall establish the districts. And what happens when the Supreme Court looks at the legislation that we passed? They'll say, oh, General Assembly, that's cute. But the Supreme Court shall establish the districts, regardless of the criteria, regardless of what we try to do. Because, as the delegate from Albemarle said, this is something that the General Assembly cannot undo. So if we're going to do something that we cannot undo, Madam Speaker, we'd better do it right. And I believe that this substitute gives us an opportunity to do it right, rather than just doing something. that we cannot undo. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Who do you trust? When I have a really tough decision, I try to look to see who I trust. And I hope that we trust each other enough to pass this substitute. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Let's instead ask the public to watch our every step. Watch our every step as we work toward a better amendment. We have everyone on both sides saying that they want something. Let's give it to them. Madam Speaker, the fact is we need a resolution that actually addresses the concerns that spurred the cries for redistricting reform from the beginning. We've already passed the legislation that would end gerrymandering. We have the ability to do a legislative fix for a commission for 2021 and choose that 2021, together with those pieces, could be the most transparent, independent, and fair redistricting process that we have had that will not allow gerrymandering. That is what the people have asked for. And if you vote no today, we can still deliver on that promise. So I urge you to vote no on Senate Joint Resolution 18. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Most fascinates me and most enthralls me every time I step onto this floor, it really takes my breath away, is that this is the birthplace and cradle of democracy. And that, I think, is something that we talk about all the time here in Virginia. We are so proud of our role in this nation and how we got here. But when I look at this amendment, I see nothing democratic about it. I see nothing that pursues the perfection of the ideals that this state and this country were founded upon.
And Madam Speaker, the third quote that I'd like to share with the body, and these were all from Malcolm X. The third quote that I would like to share with the body. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6, there's no progress. If you pull it out all the way, that's not progress. Progress is healing the wound that the blow made. And they haven't even pulled the knife out, much less healed the wound. They won't admit the knife is there. Madam Speaker, I'm standing here admitting that last year I helped put that knife in the back of my colleagues in the Black Caucus. And I am standing here hoping that the members of this body will help me try to heal that wound. Don't just pull the knife out 6 inches. Don't just pull the knife out and walk away. Madam Speaker, we've got to pull that knife out, and we have got to heal the wound. I hope that we will reject this resolution. Thank you.
From my voice, you can hear a little bit of passion. It's because I'm the youngest man here in this body, in both chambers. I'm going to be 58 in 2050. I want everybody here to ask themselves how old they will be, or if they will be alive then. My generation will have to face the brunt of this. My generation will have to face the brunt of this. And scientists are telling us that by 2030, if we don't figure out a solution, we are in deep trouble. We are the leading polluters in the whole world. We need to lead by example. Virginia is a starting place for this. We need to make sure to start today.
Madam Speaker and ladies and gentlemen of the House, as we prepare for what we know is coming, it seems to me that the time to act is now and not to wait until next year. This bill represents an historic opportunity for this General Assembly to take control of our energy future and set our Commonwealth on a path to be a national leader in what we know to be the necessary clean economy of the future. I hope this body will pass this bill.
You have statues and monuments that are high and lifted up, and people riding on their horse saying, in many words, sending words of intimidation to a certain population, that I want to reminding that population that they were once subservient, that they were to be submissive. That's why they're big, that's why they're large, that's why they're in the public square, because it's a message that was strategically placed for the benefit for a certain population of people. You know, personally, if they left the statues there, I wouldn't have a problem with it, as long as contextually the whole story was told. The entire story, that Robert E. Lee was the one who was perpetuating the continuation of slavery. If those stories are told along his statue at the base, Leave the statue there. But also in doing, contextually telling the story, I want you to also raise up some other black individual African Americans who have made tremendous contribution to this Commonwealth and to this nation. Leave your statue there if you want to.
Shall the bill pass? The clerk shall close the roll.
Ayes 53, nays 46, abstentions 0.
Ayes 53, nays 46, abstention 0. The bill passes.